Aquarius, from June to December 2025, the universe is guiding you through an exceptionally rare threshold. Pluto, the planet of transformation and power, has officially left the final shadows of Capricorn and entered Aquarius, where it will reside for nearly the next 2 decades. This is not just a new cycle, it's a long initiation designed for Aquarius to become the highest version of themselves. Not everyone gets to experience Pluto moving through their sun sign. With a cycle of over 240 years, most generations only hear about this shift as something distant and abstract. But you, Aquarius, are one of the few living in the midst of it. However you may feel, this is happening, and it marks the beginning of something vastly different. Pluto's transit through Aquarius means that every old concept of self, your identity, how you live, how you relate to the world, is being stripped down and rebuilt from the roots. If you feel something within you is cracking, it's not because you're weak, but because the old shell has expired. This is what we call a crisis of becoming, a breaking point that doesn't come to destroy you, but to bring rebirth. In the first half of this transit, especially from June onward, you may clearly feel a tension between protecting your personal energy and being pulled into too many external demands. This is the impact of Pluto combined with Saturn moving deep through Aries, requiring you to learn to discern what truly deserves your time and effort, and what is merely draining your life force. You don't have that much to give away right now. The universe doesn't ask you to sacrifice, only to choose wisely. If you've been wondering why you've been experiencing these sudden flashes of clarity lately, like a light switch flicking on in your mind, it's because Pluto is awakening you. In astrology, nothing is more uncompromising than the interaction between Pluto and the lunar nodes, where the soul is summoned to its real path. You're being awakened, not by others, but by the part of your soul that has long been asleep inside you. Throughout the early months when Pluto first touched your sign, you may have felt a quiet urge to pull back, to go silent, to retreat inward for something deeper, something you couldn't quite name. But that doesn't mean you've stopped. On the contrary, you're turning inward to reestablish order. No one can see it from the outside, but within you everything is being unraveled and rearranged layer by layer. Saturn, the planet of discipline, boundaries, and structure, is transiting Aries, and this deeply influences how you act, speak your truth, and choose your path forward. You might not realize it, but you are redesigning how you exist, from the smallest habits to the largest belief systems. Not through grand declarations, but by how you start fixing small things, like how you react, how you say no, how you stop tolerating things that drain you. The powerful thing is, you're doing this very quietly. No display, no need for validation, but profoundly, like the roots of a tree growing underground, unseen by others, yet determining whether the tree can withstand the coming storms. From an astrological perspective, when Pluto impacts your first house, if you are Aquarius rising, or your sun sign if your sun is in Aquarius, every transformation is deeply tied to your identity and inner strength. No one can protect you during this time, because this is the phase when your soul must rise from the exact place it once felt. Simultaneously, Saturn is requiring you to relearn how to act and how to transmit energy into the world, not through sheer willpower, but through grounded inner clarity. With Neptune soon entering Aries in the next few years, a new wave of energy is beginning to stir. Transformation through action, healing through forward movement. And right now, you're at the starting edge of that process. Not through big plans or dramatic changes, but through small daily consistencies. The kind of shift no one sees, but slowly makes you live differently. The big question here is, do you believe in yourself? Not the kind of belief born from fleeting motivation, but belief formed through impact, through breaking, through learning, and still choosing to keep going. The kind of belief you don't need to speak aloud, but that shapes every decision you make. When you start saying no to what drains you and yes to what leads to restoration, you are doing exactly what Saturn and Pluto ask of you, to restore your inner order. No one may notice you're growing stronger, but you know it each time you turn away from something that no longer resonates. Each of those moments is a step back home to yourself. Clearer, lighter, truer. You may not realize you're making progress, because real progress comes without applause. But when you begin prioritizing what truly matters instead of what exhausts you, that marks the beginning of a powerful turning point. And when you stay aligned with your core energy long enough, everything else will begin to shift as well. Soon, you'll start to reconnect with what can only be called blessings, but not in the form of gifts from above. Rather, they are the results of what you've learned, what you've let go of, and what you've rebuilt from within. Things no one sees, but you'll know because you had to change yourself to be able to receive them. Something quiet is happening within you, Aquarius. You might not have a name for it yet, but you've started asking questions you thought you'd already answered. The things that once excited you now seem less important. The people who used to be at the center of your life may now feel like distant pauses. Not because they changed, but because you're beginning to see more clearly what truly aligns with you. This isn't a crisis. This is a sign that your self-discovery journey is entering a deeper phase. As Pluto in Aquarius collides with the Aries Libra axis, you can no longer ignore what no longer fits. The things you used to tolerate out of convenience now feel heavy, not because they've gotten worse, but because you've evolved. Saturn and Neptune in Aries are placing you at a crossroads, to keep investing in the old, or to bravely choose a new path, even if it's still unclear. This is a time when every decision is a direct conversation with yourself. There are no more just because choices. Every step forward leaves an imprint on your life's direction. This is the moment to ask yourself, is what I'm doing still worth it? A small question, but one that shifts your entire trajectory. And rightly so. Late 2025 is a turning point. Whether you choose big or small changes, what matters most is this. Stop continuing what you already know is no longer true for you. Energetically, as Saturn moves across the beginning of the chart, specifically Aries, you are being pulled into a phase where you must be more decisive with your own life force. No more time for distractions. No more space for things done out of obligation. You are being called by the cosmos to choose what is worthy and release what no longer reflects who you are. At the same time, Pluto's movement through your sign is acting as a cosmic filter, gradually phasing out relationships, jobs, or choices that no longer resonate with your new frequency. This doesn't happen loudly, but it's unmistakable. What's no longer aligned will naturally drift away, not through conflict, but through quiet divergence. And yes, it will feel lonely, but also deeply real. Astrology isn't telling you to throw everything away. It's simply reflecting that your energy has shifted, and when you change, your environment will inevitably rearrange itself. You don't need to force it. You just need to be honest with yourself. So if something is breaking apart, know that it's not about losing, it's about clearing space for what's to come. You may not know what that is yet, but you already know very clearly that the old no longer mirrors the person you're becoming. A genuine life doesn't begin from the outside. It begins when you are brave enough to look inward, to accept what can't be explained, and still choose to move forward. No one is forcing you to understand everything right away, but you need enough courage not to stop just because you don't yet have all the answers. That's also what the astrology of the second half of 2025 is reminding you. As Pluto moves deeper into Aquarius, this planet doesn't just rearrange the way you live. It wants you to show up in every sense, not to impress others, but to be present with your truest self. From June onward, the energy of the Sun 11th house axis begins to activate. You will feel a pull toward community, toward groups of people that resonate with your frequency. But to truly join in, you need to step out of your refuge first. Pluto may have pushed you into isolation for a while, but not to make you disappear. It was to help you find your own light and share it when you're ready. In astrology, the most powerful source of inner light isn't the sun, it's you, once you've accepted to emerge after having gone deep. That's why Pluto and Saturn are both testing you. Can you trust enough to descend from the lonely mountain you've built and share yourself with the world? It's no longer about being perfect before stepping out. It's about being real enough to start showing up. At the same time, the astrological axis between the 2nd and 8th houses is being strongly activated. This puts you in a position to reassess what is truly worth continuing to invest in, not just in terms of money, but your energy, time, and trust. The things that once felt like your life's purpose now need to be re-questioned. You begin to ask, is this job still right for me? Does this relationship truly help me grow? Am I repeating old patterns just because they're familiar? These questions aren't meant to torment you. They're here so you can realign your life's axis before it's too late. This is a clear manifestation of the Pluto trine to the North Node and Saturn square to Uranus, energies that push for directional shifts, even if you don't yet see where they lead. You'll face decisions that seem small, but are quietly altering your entire life trajectory. These changes happen in silence, but their ripple effects last for years. And then a part of you may want to go back just because it's familiar. This is the devil you know mindset, the fear of risk, the fear of the unknown. But astrology in 2025 is telling you very clearly, don't go back. You no longer belong to the things you once compromised yourself to survive. You weren't born to live within limits. You were born to blaze trails, and now is the time for you to do just that. There's no one ahead of you to follow, because the one leading is you. When you begin to change from within, the outside world starts shifting too. Some people will drift away, some doors will quietly close, but at the same time new people will begin to appear. People who align with the new version of you, people you don't have to try to keep, because they naturally resonate with your new frequency. And that's exactly what the astrological cycle from July to the end of the year emphasizes. Under the influence of Pluto and the 11th 5th house axis, Aquarius is entering a period of what we could call community reconstruction, not just a circle of friends or co-workers, but a tribe that truly aligns with your values, your energy, and your soul. People around whom you don't have to perform, you simply show up as yourself. At the same time, Chiron in Aries is activating psychological zones tied to expression and voice. If you've been silent, hidden, or afraid of being misunderstood, now is the time to learn how to speak and live your truth. Chiron doesn't heal by soothing. It heals by opening the wound, facing it, and turning it into a source of strength. It's no coincidence that you feel the urge to live differently. It's no accident that your old desires seem to be fading. It's because your frequency is changing. And like a universal law, when your frequency shifts, you naturally attract what matches the new vibration. From an energetic astrology lens, this is the moment for fixed signs like Aquarius to return to joy, art, and raw emotional experiences. Not to please anyone else, but to feel life truly flowing through you again, so that you're no longer just surviving, but finally starting to fully live. If you've ever told yourself you don't need love, don't need connection, don't need anyone to truly understand you, take a second look, not because you're weak, but because your internal software has been updated, and it's now asking for a different kind of connection, more refined, more profound, more emotionally healthy. You are no longer living as the old version of yourself, and the world is responding to that shift with new puzzle pieces, new people, new possibilities. But to recognize them, you have to be tuned in to your true frequency. This is the moment to really listen to yourself, not to control, but to understand and to choose again. To choose what suits who you are now, not who you once were. What makes you feel at ease? Who makes you feel safe without having to try? What activity makes you forget time but makes you feel more alive? Let those questions lead you, because when you live in truth with yourself, you will naturally meet the right people. All these changes are not just to make you feel different. They are preparing you to step into a greater destiny, one where you don't just live for yourself, but begin to bring real value to the world, not by what others define as success, but in the exact way your soul was designed to shine. The astrology of the second half of 2025 is activating the axis between the 6th and 10th houses, emphasizing your work, your role in society, and what you leave behind for the world. If you feel called to do something, whether it's a personal project, a shared mission, or a community-based initiative, then this is the time to show up. You don't need to be perfect. The only thing that matters is whether you're being true to what you're doing. There's no more waiting for the perfect moment, no more hiding behind the curtain. You've been prepared enough. And the world is waiting for you, not to hand you glory, but to receive what only you can give. Pluto in your sign is the ultimate test. Will you dare to step into your true position? Not the one someone else set for you, not the label society assigned to you, but the truest version your soul longs to live, and only you can recognize what that looks like. The good news is, you're not walking in empty-handed. Saturn, the planet of time and reward, is now ready to give to those who've been serious about their path. If you've worked from the heart, grown through discomfort, and dared to step beyond your comfort zone, you'll start seeing results. Not overnight, but enough to know you're on the right track. In the energy chart for the rest of the year, karmic points like the North Node and Ceres, the asteroid of nurturing, reveal that you're starting to receive invisible gifts, stemming from small, consistent choices you've made all this time. The kind of things no one saw, but the universe always did. It might come in the form of a job opportunity aligned with your values, a financial reward because you chose to live authentically, a person who resonates deeply with you, showing up just when you stopped searching. None of it is coincidence. It's all a result of your inner consistency. And if nothing feels clear yet, don't worry, because destiny works like this. You're not meant to see everything ahead of time. You only need to act as if it's coming. When you live as though you're already ready, the universe will respond as if you already are. But you will still have to choose. Between authentic action and delay. Between solid belief and old fears. Between complaining about the world and quietly transforming it from within. Astrology doesn't judge what you choose, it simply reflects that your actions create outcomes. And the outcomes of this year's second half will be very clear if you stop postponing what you already know you're meant to do. You'll begin to notice a quiet separation unfolding, not through major upheavals but through small, subtle signs, real, grounded, unmistakably human. Those who dare to live true to themselves will begin to shine, not loudly, but in a way that can't be ignored. On the other hand, those still clinging to old patterns will start to feel unsteady, disoriented, perhaps even as though they're being left behind. No one is excluding them. It's simply that the rhythm of life has shifted, and without internal change, they won't be able to keep up with the new frequency that's forming. And Aquarius, standing at the most pivotal threshold of this entire 248-year cycle. You get to choose which group you belong to. No one else chooses for you. No birth chart can live your life for you. The choice has always been in your hands, and it's never been clearer than it is right now. Not everyone can clearly sense the changes that are unfolding. Some feel them deeply, others only faintly. But wherever you are on this journey, the astrology of the second half of 2025 is still quietly at work, step by step. You don't have to force yourself to transform right away. You don't need to move faster than anyone else. Your only task is to listen, adjust, and continue at your own rhythm. If something in this video made you pause, reflect more deeply, or turn inward, then perhaps you've already begun. You don't need to call it an awakening. Just know you're living a little more truthfully, moment by moment. And if things still feel unclear, that's okay too. Some phases don't require decisive action. They only ask that you stay with yourself and let clarity rise in its own time. If something in this resonated with you, leave a sign below, a symbol, the words, "It touched me," or anything else that feels honest to you. It's not just feedback for the content, it's your way of telling the universe, I'm ready to live more truthfully now. And if you'd like to keep receiving deep, heartfelt astrological messages like this one, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next meaningful video.